And we had talked about Turntine a while back and whether that would be a take for them, whether or not that'd be a guy that you'd want to bring in. He's such in a weird sort of enigma as you look at his play, at least by certain numbers, certain measuring sticks. He's a guy that can be good in a brutal conference with really good defensive lines, and then he can be pretty terrible against awful teams and benched. So I don't know what he is, but I know that he's going to serve. He's a giant man, I can tell you that. 6'7", 340 pounds. At his best, he certainly could aid this team. At his worst, then he's taken up a spot that's not good. So, I don't know. I'm curious about this. I do think that if you can get out of him his best, then you've probably improved your offensive line. And most of our takes have been solid to good when it comes to the offensive line, kind of the additions that they've tried to utilize while they build it back up through high school recruiting. So we won't know until camp starts and see what kind of shape he's in.
Well, you take it back to the beginning of spring camp where Mike Norvell had said that it was a critical camp for Lloyd Willis and to a lesser degree, Rod Orr. And I think what you've seen this offseason is that critical camp didn't go so hot.
Yeah.
Now, we can tell you that, but we also can't speak to every down or every rep in practice. I'm not really allowed to do that. But actions speak louder than practice reports. And these actions are telling you that if they need somebody in a pinch, they feel like they're alone, by themselves, with no water, no food, no rations. And so they need all the help that they can get. And that's what this take speaks to me about, which is if we need two guys to fill in because all hell is broken loose against, name your opponent, Wake Forest, Louisville.
LSU, second game of the year.
We don't like the second guy off the bench. We need, and I'd rather take a chance on this kid that's inconsistent than the one that I know that I have in my own backyard.
Yeah, at the end of the day, and I probably would catch some blowback from Coach Norvell, I openly stated within a week of watching spring practice that Lloyd Willis sucked. He had no chance. He looked awful. And I never saw him have a good day. Now, that's me. Coach Atkins might vehemently disagree with me, and he's abundantly more qualified. But I didn't see it. I didn't see the step forward. They were trying to motivate him. They wanted him to know that it was there for the taking, that there was something that if he went out and got it, he could find his way into that starting lineup even. But he was a long ways away. It wasn't there. And listen, I'm not completely giving up on him. I'm not saying there's no chance that he doesn't come along at some point, but I didn't see it. So to your point, that's exactly what they're doing. They're going out and they're getting Dimitri and guys like that, Emmanuel, because they know they don't have guys that have started big-time college football games and had any degree of success behind the starting group. Even within the starting group, they have a few guys that you could argue have not had games in which they've started big-time college football and found themselves successful. There've been guys that were tabbed to start, but they didn't exactly have themselves a day. So they knew they had to find, and this also, it gets just back to what we all know and that we keep talking about, and there's no way to avoid it. And I'm just glad they understand the urgency here. They don't have time. They don't have time to be screwing around. They got to have a season here, man. They got to put something together, and they got to be good and good early. And they know it. They don't, if somebody's not cutting the mustard early on, you want to know that you've had a guy who's played big-time college football behind him, and you can put him in, and he gives you a fighting chance. And so Turntine probably gives you a fighting chance. I don't know. He may start. Who knows? But let's say he doesn't. At least he's played in the SEC and had some success, varying points. And you can say, you know what? Let's put him out there. Let's put him out there because we know this ain't working.
It's going to be very busy work and good busy work to investigate what the offensive line looks like this camp.
I can't wait.
There's so many
really
names
pumped.
now.
Yeah, I'm pumped. It's
even think about watching third or fourth team reps with all these freshmen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we know those guys have a chance to be real good down the line. It's again, we're trying to get to a place, and you guys, if you've listened to me before, this is probably a broken record territory here. But when I talk about that starting lineup, and then I talk about the need for competition and depth, and then more importantly, the need to not ruin people. it's been a cycle of ruining people, because on the offensive and defensive lines, if you start guys too soon, two bad things happen. They get whipped physically, and sometimes that leads to injury, but then that definitely leads to long-term psychological damage. Their confidence is shook, for lack of a better term, and you really, in many cases, don't see them take the next step. It's hard to take a step forward when you don't believe that you're capable, or that the only evidence you have since you leaving high school is that you're physically not strong enough to do it. And that's that's been an ugly cycle where we've had to, out of sheer necessity, number problems, injuries, talent issues, we've had to thrust guys in there that you think, well, look, 6 and 1, half dozen or another, it's not good, but this situation is relieved a little bit because his footwork is better than this guy who just can't play. Never mind the fact that he's going to lose out against some of the stronger veteran players that he's going to face. He gives himself a fighting chance because he's in the right position.
I understand that the trenches is more about development and strength than any other position on the football field. But having said that, if you've got a freak that can contribute early, it's easier to do so when there are more options and not a sense of desperation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, for example, if you're a rookie in the Dodgers farm system right now, if you get called up, you're going to hit 7th or 8th.
Yeah, if you
know,
yeah,
even if you can crack that 40 man, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you come up and play for them, you're not going to hit 3rd. You're not going to hit 4th.
No.
You're not going to hit 6th.
No.
It's a loaded lineup.
Yeah.
So there is no pressure on you when you're called up. It's like the Red Wings teams of the 90s.
Right.
You're going to go play 4th line minutes or 3rd line minutes. If you chip in a goal, you're a hero.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same as being on, name your team, the Coyotes. You're going to play 1st line minutes. If you're going to play for, I don't know, name your NL Central team here, the Cubs, you're going to hit 4th if you're a stud right now. There's no pressure on these freshmen this year, which is a great thing. What you're talking about, even if you suffer now 2 or 3 injuries, which hopefully not, because that's going to hurt the win total we're looking for, you're not pressing true freshmen into work. But if one of them emerges, it's because they've earned it and they've climbed the ladder. It's not by default anymore.
Listen, there's always the chance. I know I'm quick to point out some of the negatives of the past and potential pitfalls of the future, because I like to have honest dialogue with you guys here, and I like to put us in the right frame of mind about what a realistic expectation is. At the same time, I try, and I'm not always good at it, so it occurs to me now to bring this up. There's the plus side of this too. You get a kid who's physically a monster. Say he drops some of the bad weight and gets himself in great shape. Say Atkins, who we know is as well thought of in the industry as an offensive line coach and offensive mind as there is, a guy that we're all, even as early on in the process as we are, worried about losing. That someday somebody's calling him to be a head coach, and or somebody with deeper pockets sees his value in the same way that Norvell saw his, and says, we need to go get that guy. But in the interim, what he is doing is connecting with a lot of guys. A lot of these kids that have come in here, whether it's Big Man Camp this week, whether it's any of the on-campus visits that you read about on warchant.com, whatever it might be, right? They all bring his name up. He connects exceptionally well with these kids, relates to these kids, gets them to, I think, feel both his intensity and focus and expertise, as well as the arm over the shoulder. It's a nice mixture, right? I'm going to teach you. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to whoop your ass. I'm going to do all these things because I love you and I want the best out of you. And it's a win-win for us, right? Those are the best coaches. The coaches that when you're in the wrong are going to point it out and they're going to ride you. But you'll take it because they also care deeply, right? So he seems to have that. A lot of coaches do, but Atkins has it right now and he's connecting. Well, if that serves as a great motivator, if that serves as something that lights a spark in a kid who's otherwise been somewhat stagnant or wildly inconsistent, and you get the very best out of what he is. Say that happens with all these new guys, all the transfer guys, all the guys that we kind of don't know what to do with in our top 40 list because we're not sure how much they're going to contribute, if at all, whether they're going to be starters or third string. We don't, we're trying to juggle all this. But if you think about the way Dylan Gibbons came to this program and impacted this program once he dropped the bad weight, once he got his ass in shape. The second half of the season, he was our best offensive lineman. Wasn't close. He was a pretty, you go look at some of those numbers in some of the bigger games we played in the second half of the season. Dylan Gibbons was a plus player against good competition. All right, so say you are able to coax out of Bless Harris out of this kid, Dimitri Manuel. Let's say, now we know he's a good player at that level. Let's say he's ready now. He's a grown-ass man. He's been playing football a long time. He's been in that weight room a long time. Now he's got himself an elite coach to bring the best out of him, right? Put him in the best possible positions, right? Now, what if all those guys are a hit? Well, I dare say, friends, it changes my projection on this season radically. If they're all hits, if every one of them are hits, I think you're clearly looking at an 8-win season at that point, because you can run the damn football, create real balance, make defenses play you honest, get yourself ahead of the chains more often than not, and you give Jordan Travis a real chance to succeed. And you also broaden the scope of your offense.
There's another transfer in there too, Lyles.
Caden Lyles, who, if he takes the field in the fall and practices more than a day, what I'm saying is there weren't too many consecutive days where that guy was riding with the ones. We didn't see it, right? He kind of was just getting a feel for what they were asking him. So I think he was learning the language of the offense, and I also think he was nursing and recovering from an injury. So we don't know what he is. Now, if I'm going to project and guess, I think he's a slow-footed powerhouse. So I don't think he's going to be an elite-level athlete. You're not going to see that. Do think he could very well be a road grader. He could be a guy that in the run game, in the interior, you may have something there. You may have something running downhill here.
Yeah.
Can he hold his own in pass protection? Well, let's see in the fall. Let's see what he is. Does he win the starting center's job over Maurice Smith? Sure hope so. Unless Maurice Smith is putting on 35 pounds that I don't know about. And he might, who knows? Could have a newfound, energized, well-balanced nutritional plan for these young men in this offseason. I sure hope that's the case. The Bama table has needed to be here for a very long time, and it hasn't existed. I'd like to see it. Hopefully Coach Storms has access to that kind of nutrition to aid his workout program.
Well, if you've hit on half of these transfers, just half of them, you've already changed the game.
Yeah.
You changed your depth chart. You fundamentally shifted what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not punchless if somebody goes down for a week or two. That's the key.
Yeah, man, I that's the hope. That is the hope. I am really hopeful, and I think optimistic that because of the position, because of that position. If you tell me we're taking a chance on another corner, I'm like, all right, But you tell me we're going to go ahead and try to ride with numbers on a few offensive linemen, given what that position of need is and who coaches it. I go, all right. You may have me here. You may have me believing a little bit more in what's possible this season. I'm excited for the fall. In fact, it can't get here soon enough. I was driving back this morning from St. Augustine Beach, and I was listening to a program, and they were talking about college football. It was a podcast, and as they were talking, they were kind of previewing the ACC, and I was, agreeing, disagreeing with points, as we all do as we listen to it, and you're trying to size up other programs and teams in your head and where they're at. And they kind of looked at us as a bit of a wild card, and I agreed with that. Like, Florida State might be good this year, one of the hosts said, right? They may actually be good. They could win, 8-9 games, and we might all be like, oh, look at Florida State's back in the conversation. And it made me smile a little bit, because I think that's the way everybody kind of views us now as we get set to go in July to the ACC kickoff in Charlotte. I think a lot of people just kind of view us as, I don't know. They sucked last year, but sure played better at the end of the year than they did at the beginning of the year, and might have started to find something there. They seem to be cohesive. They certainly played hard in every game. They had plenty of reason not to after that first 4, start. So, like people trying to look at us and can't figure us out.
Yeah, on the dais, when you're in the main ballroom, the ACC asks the first question or two, and they're always, as you might imagine, softballs, kind of like they were written by Sports Information for the university, state-sponsored media.
Mm-hmm.
But I guarantee you that one of the two questions this year is going to be, so what went into finishing the season 5-3 and playing close games all the way after a slow start to the season? They won't say 0-4. After a slow start to the season, what made you guys buy in and believe, and then obviously contend in all 8 games and win 5 of them? That's going to be the question. And that is the foundation for the argument of 8 or 9 wins this year is the 5-3 to finish.
Well, yeah, and you added a couple receivers, and I don't know what we're going to get out of those receivers, at least in the case of Johnny Wilson. I do think you're going to get a lot out of Micah Pittman. That's a guy, if you ask me, of all the wide receivers, and that includes Ontario Wilson, that includes Malik McLean, who do I think will be the most consistent of that bunch? Micah Pittman. I believe that kid is a fierce competitor, makes contested grabs despite his stature, is tough physically, and I think he's got a dog in him, man. He looks like he wants to prove something here, which is good, because if he's half the player his dad was or his brother is, then we got something here. Let's go.
That's the other thing about the transfer portal meeting us at the right time. And you don't want to live and die by the portal. Although I wonder if it's going to be a large part of program building if you're not one of the Power 4 or 5.
It has to be. It can be. You now have an opportunity. Think about these lesser tier programs that do have alumni with money, are tired of having sand kicked in their face. If I think about a program that if you're just sizing up the programs in the particular conference, right? So you can do this for all the conferences. You can do this the Big 12, SEC, ACC, where there are these fan bases that are extremely loyal, diehard. They have some history to them. They haven't really mattered in the last 20 or 30 years. They've been passed over by some of the stronger programs and the more well-invested programs. But they have a desire to get back there, and there's a little bit of new money there with these television contracts. So if you took a team out of the SEC, maybe you would take a Kentucky or even a South Carolina, which has a great fan base, right? And they're hungry. They're tired of just not mattering all that much. I know they won 10 games, but you get my point. Like programs like that, you're not going to out-recruit Georgia. You're not going to not consistently. You're not going to out-recruit Florida. You're not going to out-recruit Alabama, Auburn, LSU. They know that, right? So even within your own conference, there's 5, 6, 7 teams that you're not going to out-recruit. Now you got a shot because you have people with money who want to see you win, and you can say, you know what, screw this. We're not going to get the 5-star high school kid to come here, but we can get the kid that failed, that went away to Alabama and didn't make it work. Boom, let's grab him.
Right, or like my goal would be, if I'm one of those athletic directors or NIL collective fund people, is, when you hear on Sunday Night Football and they do the colleges, most guys speak to their colleges, some do their high schools, and you hear Central Michigan or you hear, whatever. Where did Chattanooga? That's where T.O. played. But there are a lot of those, especially in the offensive line. But you hear a lot of non-traditional power schools. So my goal would be, number one, who are those kids? And let's get them at 20 before they get to the NFL. So they say our name. They're going to say our school. I never want to hear on Sunday Night Football a player say Central Michigan ever again. They're going to say our name because we're going to find them and be the bridge to the NFL for them. That's the goal. And the beauty of the transfer portal fitting us at this time in our program's history is we have a chip on our shoulder. That's who we are. That's who we have to be. So you're getting a lot of half mercenary, half buy-in guys, and whatever it is. Jermaine Johnson was on the good side of it. But whatever the reason, if you get a bunch of people with chips on their shoulder, now you've got an identity, because that's what this fan base has to feel like too.
Oh, buddy.
It's not quite revenge tour yet, but maybe in a year or two, it is revenge tour.
I'll tell you what. The effort with the numbers on the offensive line, I'll just conclude with this, has me very encouraged. I don't know how good of players all those guys are going to be. I mean, obviously we haven't had a chance to see Jazz up close, as they're calling him now. Jazz, my boy Jazz. We haven't seen him up close. Emmanuel, I've got a lot of hope for. It'd be nice. It'd be nice, right? I mean, that's a guy that's played a ton of football, and I would think has grown man strength at this point, and now a great coach to work with him. We did see Bless Harris, and we both liked Bless Harris quite a bit. Bless Harris elevated himself, in my mind, to the level of a starter. So, man, I don't know how many times that I've had to beat the drum. And you football people out there know this. You guys all know this, right? We like the shiny car. We like to see the kid that runs 4.3. We love that athlete. We all do. But we also know this game is a brutal game, and it's about blocking people. It's about blocking people, and on the other side, it's about blowing up the line of scrimmage. And if you can do that with any degree of regularity, even against the better teams on your schedule, you can win a lot of games. You can win a lot of games, even with an average quarterback. And I think we have an average quarterback who has a unique skill set. He has an elite element to his game, but he's an average overall quarterback. But he will develop into what looks to be a pretty consistently good quarterback if you have an offensive line in front of him that he can trust, and you create more elements of your offense, utilize more elements of your offense, and create a balance. Every quarterback benefits from that. I'd like to see that for Jordan. I'd like to see him reach his potential. Again, I'm always going to wonder about him as a thrower, but we'll see. We'll see. He's got some time, and he starts to trust it.
Hey, we can wonder about him as a thrower on the way to a 9-win season. Who cares? I'd love to have that speculation and talk. I still don't know what he is. I know we're winning all of these games because we've got better trench play, but I still don't know. I don't know if he's a good thrower or not. That'd be a great place to be.
Yeah. Well, again, some of these guys, I don't know that they're going to be great when they get here. Some of them we haven't seen. Again, Jazz, I haven't really seen. I've looked at those PFF numbers and for what they are, and there's some confusion in there. But body type wise, if you get the best version of him, you get him in, you put some good weight on him and shred some of the bad. Then at the very least, maybe you have a quality depth piece. He's just an asset in that way. Maybe.
Yeah. What he reads like as a baseball comp is Mark Reynolds. That's what the PFF looks like. A lot of home runs, but my God,
a lot of swing and miss there, isn't there?
A lot of nothing else.
A couple stretches there where my man went 0 for 12 over 3 games with 10 Ks.
Like, how do you explain good performances against Florida and Kentucky, the home runs, versus several against teams you never heard of that are in the red?
Yeah.
Mark Reynolds. That's how.
Yeah, well, and if you got a good team around Mark Reynolds, you throw him in that DH spot, you're like, all right, pop that 3-run bomb every once in a while, Mark, and you'll be all right. You can hit 207 for us.
3rd and goal from the 1. Here he comes. Yeah. All right.
The Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
Hey, no fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state governments, ISF knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed strategy. Our friends at ISF can help your organization create a strategy that sets you on a path to success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings your brilliant ideas to life. Visit ISF.com to learn more. ISF, solving the future.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Some people call me Paul because I work at Paul's Termite and Pest Control. Everyone that works here will proudly answer to the name Paul. One of the things I love about my job is that I get to help people fix their problems every day. If you have pests in your home and you're like 99.9% of the people I deal with, you want them gone, not tomorrow, but right now. It always puts a smile on my face to hear the reaction of a customer when I tell them we'll have someone out there in a couple of hours. At Paul's, I get the privilege of making your environment safer and more healthy for your family and pets. And because Paul's provides a same-day service guarantee with minimal wait, we get to begin the process right after I receive the call.
If you live in Leon County and call us by noon, Paul's Pest Control will be out by 5, guaranteed. We're a local company, and it's our mission to help keep Tallahassee area customers comfortable and free from the problems that pests bring. And we do so with treatments that are friendly to our environment for the elimination of termites and any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at wittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
You might be considering buying a new home, and you're thinking to yourself, in the current climate, we've all heard that demand is very high. Tom found that out himself. He knows demand was high. Tom came swooping in there and outbid somebody. Pure cash, homie. Just suck it.
Actually, that's a good story for another time. Yeah, but yes, that's exactly what happened.
Inventory is low. If you want to get a leg up on the rest of the buyers, all making offers in the same house as you, it could be a toughie, but the first place that I would suggest you go to is to call my friends Chad and Shannon, the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. They'll get you that complete pre-approval underwriting. That's what you need right there. Let's get it done. Let's go. There's a lot more to that than you think, and you want to have an advantage, and you do with the proven winning team, Chad and Shannon, Hamilton Home Loans. Give them a call. Find out more today. It's 844-FSU-LOAN, 844-FSU-LOAN, also FSUHomeLoans.com. I'm sure they're excited today. They're excited today for a couple reasons. A, Florida State keeps adding to this offensive line, at the very least, perhaps providing some quality depth. And then B, it does look like, if you just read these quotes, and I'm going to now for you because maybe you're driving, maybe you're working, you don't have time to go look for this quote. So here you go. Link Jarrett, which figures to be, or I think has a very good chance to be, the next head baseball coach at Florida State University, and is on the mind of many. We'd like to just see this get wrapped up. In fact, oddly, and Link, if you're listening, don't take this personally. I know you won't. I would guess that 99.9% of Florida State's faithful baseball fan base said, I sure hope Notre Dame gets their ass kicked today when it happened yesterday. I think a lot of people were kind of like, yeah, let's hope they lose. And when they started to lose, people were like, all right, there it is. That's the way. Get them out of there. Because being in limbo is uncomfortable. You know, either you're moving on and directing your attention elsewhere and moving forward with something, or, you know, you're stagnant. And nobody likes that. When you're limbo, you're just kind of, I don't know what to do here. And so the sooner that they get bounced, the sooner we can begin this negotiation and move it on down the line. And I know it had to have been really tough for him because I think, and I don't know who the hell Matthew Stevens is or Carter Carrells is.
Carter's a new colleague of ours. He works at the paper now.
Oh, he's on TDOs. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, Carter. Yeah, I do. I have to look at your pictures. I'm better with faces. But anyhow, I just want to note that he did a good job of tweeting this out here and pointing out that Link's been asked about the Florida State job a lot. And I do think it's got to be really difficult for him as he was going to the College World Series, because you develop bonds. You develop, obviously, we all know this, right? Ideally, you develop really close-knit bonds, the kind where players want to run through a wall for you. And this may have been a problem for Mike Martin Jr., which we hope is remedied with the hiring of Link Jarrett, right? That connection to his players is something that you see in the way they play the game, Tom.
Right. Like, would they run through a tissue paper finish line that's being held across the end of a race? Like, would they even do that much? That was the question.
So this is Link Jarrett here. when we were in Knoxville, whatever day that was, Friday, they made that maneuver, the focus to try to redirect because you're getting question after question on it. I'm sitting there with these guys that are the best. These guys are the best. They're unique species of student athlete. You can forget that out there. I mean, that's why we're here, but remove the baseball part. These are exceptional guys. These are global leaders that are in the making in the world of finance and whatever field they'll be in. That's where they will end up. To have that group of guys, my focus had to be on them and not all the other stuff. And you know what? I had to deal with it last year. When your program's doing the right thing, you're going to have those distractions, whether it's baseball, basketball, football. And I tried with all I had not to go there in my mind. It was very difficult. But I wanted to know when this thing either ended with a trophy or not, that they were the focus, of what I was doing. And they're just phenomenal human beings. Yes. So, he's talking about having to be there, wanting to be there for those guys, finish this thing off the right way. I think it's interesting that you note that when this thing ends, that doesn't portend of see you next year.
No, it doesn't. And whether or not his name is the one that the wheel stops on for this job, it's just when he's done, you can get to the conclusion of whatever negotiation you're doing. I just like this for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's not saying I can't wait to coach these guys again next year.
No.
I can't wait to coach these global leaders. He's also saying, look at the job I've done. These are not baseball players.
Look
These
at
are
the
finance
nerds that I turned into a fine bunch of baseball players.
These guys are going to be global leaders in the world of finance. You know what they're not going to be? Draft picks. These guys aren't going to be draft picks. Just amazing what I've done.
Thing is, though, some of them will. He had a good team. He had a senior-laden team, too. It's important to point that out. Had a bunch of guys that will be moving on, Tom. Moving on. The emphasis or lack thereof, Notre Dame, baseball, facilities, history, investment, right? I think would make it easy for Link Jarrett to want to move on. And then you throw in the obvious factors, which is this is where he played and this is where he grew up. And I would think that if Florida State's competitive with the offer that they'll get their guy. So we'll all just hold out and wait. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe there's another player involved in all this. I said last week when we had this talk, hey, look, man, if Southern Cal, which has now decided to overspend on everything because they can, if they decide, well, Link Jarrett's our guy. I want Link Jarrett. I want that guy. Let's give him $3 million a year. Well, I mean, if you're Florida State, you say, have a good day. Good luck out there, man. I'm not paying you $3 million a year to come coach baseball. I'm not. But short of that, I think Florida State is going to aggressively pursue their guy. And I think they'll probably get him.
Price tag has to be between $850 to $1.2. That's what I'm saying. No matter who it is.
Yeah. If you look around out there for the best baseball coaches and those that are having success at the best programs on the upper crust of salaries, you're right. That's what you'd be looking at, $800,000 to $1.2.
You've just got to signal, though, that you're committed. It's not because let's just say you brought in somebody because you whiffed on a candidate that you really wanted and you're bringing a guy in for $600. It's like, well, so what did we really just do? What did we really do here? Did we advance the mission and the mandate of what FSU baseball is about, or do we have egg on our face because we thought we were going to get this one guy and clearly we weren't prepared for a plan B? I'm not predicting that to happen. All I'm saying is once the wheel stops, like I said, whoever's name it is, you got to show the financial commitment. That's what firing Meat was about, is that we're pressing forward as an athletic department here, where expectations aren't about your name or feeling rosy about people who have been around for a long time. It's about getting the job friggin' done.
Yeah, I think there's clearly a mandate there, but I also think that situation may have just been oddly in a vacuum. I don't know that, but I mean, it sounds like there were some untenable things there. So I don't know. It will be fascinating to see how it plays out this time around, who they bring in, if it's Link, what they pay him. We're all going to be interested. Is it something that signifies an aggressive negotiation moving forward for all coaches, for this athletic director and his willingness to part with people and all that stuff? I mean, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I know amongst the fan base would all be very excited. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee Police Department reports that 2 shootings occurred within an hour of each other overnight Sunday into Monday. The first shooting took place at 11:19 p.m. at 1010 Basin Street. The adult male victim was walking down the street in the Griffin Heights apartment complex when someone drove by him in a vehicle and began shooting. The victim sustained 9 life-threatening injuries, and it is not known if the victim was the intended target of the shooting. The second shooting took place at 12:13 a.m. in the 600 block of West 7th Avenue. Officers responded to shots fired and located an adult male victim with non-life-threatening injuries. The victim stated he was walking along the sidewalk when someone inside a vehicle began shooting at him. It is also not known if he was the intended target of the shooting. Both incidents are still under investigation, and TPD cannot confirm if the 2 incidents are related at this time. This is Rachel Linnea with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A heat advisory continues until 8 p.m. tonight. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with highs around 102. Northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet again tonight, 77. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 104. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 98.
Let's take a minute to imagine all the things you can accomplish with help from Southeast Portable Buildings. Are you a hoarder? Hoard some more. Get a storage shed. Mother-in-law moving in with you? Put her in a shed out back. I'm kidding. Still working on that engine that you're going to finish from last summer? Move it out to a new workspace with Southeast Portable Buildings. From she sheds and man caves to repair shops and trophy rooms, the possibilities are only limited to your imagination. Visit Southeast Portable Buildings today.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pastor Tabner was alone with a female church employee. She in a towel and he in his boxers. The charismatic 41-year-old Hurley explained the 2 of them had been making chili and gotten food on their clothes. With the hot dogs that they were making, we are hoping that the pastor used the right condiments.
I think there was at least 1 hot dog involved.
I don't know what you're talking about. We were just making chili dogs.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. Jeff Cameron Show is sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, and transparent communication is the recipe for a 5-star mortgage experience at FSUHomeLoans.com.
It was expected. There are bands that you're like, they'll be great live. Just whether it's the type of music they play, the instrumentation, whatever it might be, you're like, yeah, they can replicate that. And his voice is exactly like you hear there. It's exactly like it is on the album. But yeah, no, the show was great. Ton of energy.
That's good. You were worried about that.
I was, because they just played Bonnaroo and they're turning around and playing Charleston, South Carolina tonight. And I was like, man, they are like boom, boom, boom going. And I was wondering because sometimes when you catch groups that are touring hardcore and they're well into the tour and they have 3 shows in 4 days, you're kind of like, man, am I going to catch them on that 3rd show or that 2nd show where they're a little leery, a little weary? But no, he brought it.
Yep. That was over in Destin, 30A. Tedeschi Trucks did that. They didn't care to be there one bit. JJ Gray was awesome, and he plays in September, but he had a show the night before with My Morning Jacket, which I think they were at High Water Fest.
Right.
So that's not, close. I think that's also in South Carolina. And somebody yelled at JJ because they came down the same night. He said, how are they going to be? He goes, oh, they rocked last night. Get ready. My Morning Jacket's going to kill it. And they did.
Good.
They cared.
Good.
So I'm glad to hear that Nathaniel was the same
No,
way.
he was ready. He was good. He was excited to be there. He told stories that the last time he had been in St. Augustine, they opened up for the Lumineers. And then before that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that he wrote that song right there.
Look at here, yeah.
Yeah, he wrote that on the beach in St. Augustine.
He did?
Yeah, he's like, he said, he goes, this place has got a little place in my heart. He's like, I've only been here a couple times, but both times were significant. And then he told those story.
That doesn't seem like a song you'd write on St. Augustine Beach. That's interesting.
He's in a headspace, right? You're writing a thematic album. So maybe it was. He's just sitting there relaxing. It was fun. It was fun. You know, observation here. Women are under so much pressure. I swear to God, just by the way, women, you guys are, I feel for you. Men have ruined women. I swear. It's like, there is not one woman that goes to a concert that knows how to dress. Not one. And I think it's this need to try to impress even when you're not equipped to. And it's just, they don't have friends. They don't have friends to say, Mary, that's not what we do.
Yo, man. No,
I blame men. I blame men.
You blame men?
Yes.
Boy, oh boy. A lot of people are clicking off of this channel.
No,
Here we go again. Another one.
I'm not apologizing for it. I'm just saying I blame men for that. I'm saying that it's crazy how many people think. Like, I wouldn't wear certain things. Like, okay, as a man, you know when a guy's in great shape, when he's not. Everybody does. We have eyes. It doesn't really matter if you're a man, woman, whatever. You know if you're in the best shape of your life or not. You can get away with a certain shirt or not.
Yeah, I'm wearing a schmedium. It's going to come up above the belly button. There we go.
If you're
That's what we're rocking.
If you're feeling like showing it off a little bit and you're in the best shape of your life, you know which shirt does or does not do that. I'm telling you, when you go to a concert, it's not like women have no judgment. It's like, what are we doing here?
But I think also you're dealing with a different crowd. You've got a hippie-ish crowd that'll go to a music festival and they'll wear all kinds of weird stuff or lack thereof.
I'm not talking about weird. Not talking about weird. I'm not talking about weird at all.
Oh, you mentioned the word weird in the
beginning. I'm talking about things that don't fit. Period. Don't fit. That doesn't fit you. Susan, that doesn't fit. You can't wear that. Oh, you can, but it doesn't fit you.
Well, I think Susan, by definition, would wear something that doesn't fit. That's a name you don't hear anymore.
Like, why? Do they not have mirrors? I'm like, what is going on? And listen, if you wore something, and this is across the board here. If you and I were going to play golf or something, I don't know.
Right.
And you had it in your head, you were going to wear a half shirt. Like, Tom, that's not appropriate. You don't need to wear that half shirt. First of all, you can't pull it off. Secondly, it's a half shirt. It's not acceptable where we're going.
That's fair, but also, okay, let me take a look at the guys. Now, I have not been there, obviously, but I've been to plenty of concerts like this.
I'm not saying
the
there are
dudes wearing the tri-blend shirts that are like the contour fit shirts.
Yeah,
they've got the craft beer bellies.
Not saying that there aren't guys who fall in this category, but it is 100% every woman there was dressed inappropriately. Every one of them looked ridiculous. Like, just either over the top, I'm wearing nothing, which you're free to do so, or that with no acknowledgement that you're not in a position to wear that. Like, things fit or they don't.
Is this a long form tee up for an OTF read? Is that what we're doing here?
It's just an observation. It's just, I'm like, there must be a lot of pressure.
Hey, let them wear what they want to wear, man.
I'm not trying to
judge them.
I'm not trying to. I will judge them, and I'm not trying to take away their ability to wear anything they want to wear.
That's an honest statement right there.
I will judge them, every one of them. As I was sitting there, every person that walked by, man or woman, I judged. Yes, but it was absurd. I'm like, come on, man. Where is your friend? Where's your friend? You got to have good peer groups and friends around you to say,
You hear that, people with shaky confidence issues? You are being judged. He's doing it. He's doing it.
I'm not saying it to them. They'll never know.
Well, now they do.
Hey, by the way,
the thousands they know.
By the way, guy that sat next to me with his lovely wife, is watching the show. You know, friendly enough guy.
His lovely wife, who apparently was dressed sloppily and slovenly.
She was dressed appropriately.
Whoa, an exception.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely an exception. I said 99.6%, didn't I?
No. So every one, I think.
Okay, all right.
Every single
So you're
one.
going to be the literalist now? How long have you worked with me? So here you go. We're sitting there, and that guy like looked over twice, and I'm wondering, and finally he goes, "Man, you're Jeff Cameron." And I go, "I am." He goes, "That's awesome. You're at this show. I've listened to you for 20 years. That dude has been listening to me since the morning show days." Randomly sat next to me at this concert last night. We were slapping five because he loves, obviously, Nathaniel Rateliff just like I do. And we had a laugh, talked about it. He's like, "I remember listening to you in the morning show days. That was cool. It was just a fun little moment." Talked about Florida State a little bit. Talked about the band. Talked about concert venue in general. Good times.
Now, if she wasn't dressed appropriately or not, now I know why you couldn't say so. So I understand now because he's a listener. He's going to listen to this here podcast. He might be on YouTube right now.
His name's Mike. How you doing, Mike? Yeah, no. She was a lovely lady. Lovely lady. She was the exception. She was probably sitting there thinking, look at all these chicks not dressed appropriately.
It's not so random, though, that you ran into a fan at a Nathaniel Rateliff concert.
It isn't not that random.
No, when you have millions of people listen to the podcast every year.
It's a sizable venue, though, that we were sitting right next to each other is interesting. Like maybe I would see them in the beer line. That happens. But the fact that they were sitting right next to me, that is kind of a lot.
The streak continues. It happens all over the place. Corey and I ran into a fan outside of Amalie when we were at the Marriott waiting to go to a hockey audience. Tampa.
That's strange. Tampa.
I ran into one at Citi Field last year.
That is cool. Now that's
right
cool.
field goes, Tom. I go, what?
Yeah. Now that's where it's weird.
I was like, is that my cousin or something? Because my dad's one of 11. My dad is one of 11, so I don't know half my cousins. Catholics and Mormons, man, they know what they're doing. But yeah, Mets game. So it's just amazing. Millions of people.
I bet. Well, I'll leave it there. I'm just gonna leave it there. He
was dressed appropriately. Is that where you were getting at?
No, I was just gonna. There's just a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure. I'm glad I don't have daughters. I would struggle because I think that the women I'm talking about feel the need to try to look sexy. I don't know if it's a concert thing, if it's just it's hotter than Hades. I don't know what it is, but you're like, man, you're trying too hard there. You're just trying too hard, and clearly your friends don't care about you because there's a way to jazz it up with something that fits. You can jazz it up, but you gotta wear something that fits, man. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas to put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Now go call Seminole Glass. They'll get on the road and get it done fast.
Your local family-owned glass company, serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. At Seminole Auto Glass, we care about your safety. Insurance will send you wherever it benefits them, not the quality of service. There's a difference in auto glass companies. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass.
They handle any kind of broken glass, and you know who they are.
Better call Seminole.
I'm Joel Clark, a Select Quote agent, with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and he can't take it with him. Well, I went to work and found Ray, who's 40 and takes medication to control his high blood pressure, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. That's way more coverage for a lot less than what he was paying. If Select Quote didn't shop for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote and to find out how much you can save, call 1-800-597-2010. That's 1-800-597-2010. 1-800-597-2010. Or go to selectquote.com. Since 1985, we shop. You save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Jeff Cameron Show brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And hey, if you've been intimidated, if you walked past either of the locations, there are 2 in Tallahassee, and you look in there and you see people huffing and puffing, sweating, looking exhausted. Yep, yeah, that's true. It happens, but it's all science-backed, controlled, and you kind of dictate, what your base pace is going to be, what your all outs are going to be, and everything in between. I think you can ease your way into it, and you'll find it's not so intimidating after all. But again, that first class being free, you might as well do it. I would encourage you to do so. Again, there's Northside, there's also Midtown location. That's Orange Theory Fitness.
You want to be
going tomorrow, actually.
Scantily clad
Yeah,
at
you gotta
a
have to do it.
Rate Live concert, and you want it to be appropriately scantily clad.
Yeah. You want to be able to get away with it.
Get out there.
Yeah. You can always get away with it. You can wear whatever you want to wear. I'm not trying to tell people to wear something different. Wear whatever you want to wear. Just some people look good doing it, some people don't. That's true across all sexes. I'm just noticing that it adversely affects women more than men. I've noticed that because we get away with T-shirts and jeans. We don't really have to be fashion icons. It's like women are pressured to do that. And I see that. I see the pressure. I see it. I'm like, oh, no. Somebody should have stepped in. That's all I'm saying. It's okay. And my judgment is not that of a man who thinks that I look great. I don't. I'm not worried about it. You could say, oh, you're ugly, Jeff. Yeah, I don't care. That's fine. I agreed. Whatever. It's not that.
Having a fun time with the wife right now because she's starting a new gig, and the gig is headquartered in New York City.
Yes, it is, and I'm excited for her and you.
She flies up tomorrow for the first round of integration, orientation, whatever you want to call it, and she's getting a new wardrobe for that. So that's fun. She's bringing home stuff, and I'm being that guy. I'm like,
yeah,
that is
stunning.
Killer.
Yeah,
right.
Isn't that fun? That's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah,
she hasn't done that in forever. So,
and I would bet you anything. Now, again, because you love one another and she trusts you, that she's going to ask for your opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Get you somebody like that, ladies. Man, woman.
Well, she'll tell
whomever.
me. Yeah, that's
correct.
That's a 50-50 split.
Correct. That's my observation. Like these folks going to the show.
Yeah.
My man, you would rather delicately say, I think this other outfit looks better.
Yeah.
I think you would.
Yep. She, I think it was the second or third trip to Pensacola. We were going to dinner. She goes, what are you doing? I go, what do you mean? She goes,
yes,
put some slacks on.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Shorts don't cut?
Yeah.
No.
Freaking hobo.
Where do you think we're going?
Put on some
They weren't
pants.
athletic shorts. They were like Bermuda shorts. She's like,
still.
it got to be. And I said, you know what? I appreciate that.
Yes, you do.
Thank you very much.
You want people looking out for you. That's the point.
Yeah.
Like somebody who you trust to be honest with you, and you can be honest back, and it doesn't come from a place of cruelty or hatred or anything like that, right? Yeah.
Anytime she asks me, I get very excited because, or tells me to do something. I'm very excited with the clothing stuff because I'm like, okay, that sounds good. I like it. Good suggestion. Because then if it ever goes back the other way, and maybe she gets defensive about it, and this happens in anything. It could be in the dishes. It could be whatever. I'm like, remember.
Hey, get in there on those dishes.
Remember when you told me to do this?
Yeah.
Like,
Right. Yeah.
Not from a bad place. Just come on now.
Couple things. We got an NFL related story I want to get to next hour. Yes, we'll address Brooks Koepka's trader ass, and yes, we'll look at a couple of your questions that you asked here.
They want lightning talk in the chat.
Yeah, some people do. That was a nice bounce back. That was a little, we're not dead yet. Here's a little 6-2 for that ass. Hour number 2, forthcoming. Stay with us. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. President Biden and Big Oil are locking horns over how to solve higher gasoline prices.
The president has criticized the nation's oil companies and continues to call for more oil refining capacity.
This idea that they don't have oil to drill and to bring up is simply not true.
But Chevron's CEO pushed back, saying bringing down fuel prices will require a change in approach by the government. On Thursday, CEOs of 7 refiners and oil companies will meet with administration officials. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Infants and toddlers are finally getting the jab as the U.S. rolls out COVID-19 shots for the first time for the little ones. Physician and parent Dr. Daniel Schwab says it was important to get his 1-year-old son vaccinated right away.
I feel safer knowing that he's getting ready for school in the fall. I want him as protected as I can. And knowing that the vaccine is safe and effective for kids his age, I was happy to get it done as soon as I could.
Shipments arrived in some locations over the weekend, more to come around the country. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is facing rising criticism for inflation missteps at a hearing on Capitol Hill.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell underscored the Fed's determination to raise interest rates high enough to slow inflation. Speaking to the Senate Banking Committee, the chairman said it's possible to reduce inflation and lower unemployment at the same time.
We have to get back to 2% inflation so that we can have the kind of labor market that we really want.
A senior Republican on the Banking Committee, Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina, accused Powell of having taken too long to raise interest rates, saying the Fed's hikes are long overdue and that its benchmark short-term rates could go much higher. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Microsoft says what it calls strategic espionage attacks by state-backed Russian hackers have targeted government agencies, think tanks, businesses, and aid groups in 42 countries supporting Ukraine. More on these stories at townhall.com.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name is Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Hi, my name is Shannon Pash, and I'm the principal at Red Hills Academy. We will provide a challenging, rigorous curriculum. We will also work with our students to teach them how to set goals and then how to work to reach those goals. Red Hills Academy will offer the Spanish language every day. Relationships are really important to us, not just with our students, but with our families and the community. This benefits parents and students alike because parents get that involvement within the school. Easily apply online today at redhillsacademy.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
a note here, but really kind of weird to see this story this morning. Baltimore Ravens outside linebacker Jalen Ferguson died at the age of 26 today. That is tragic. He passed away after, I guess, collapsing last night late, and the medics were called, and he was at his house, and this is not considered to be foul play. There were no signs of trauma either, so they're going to look into how and why this happened. But obviously, it's sad. I mean, this is a 26-year-old man who participated in all the team's offseason practices, had worked hard to be in great shape, according to those around him. He had 3 children, 2 daughters and a son, all under the age of 5. That is sad. Rest in peace, Jalen Ferguson. Hate to hear that. Never know. Never know. All right, moving forward. You saw Gronk retired. Damn it, man.
Yes, but you saw Schefter's tweet this morning about that?
No, I didn't. I was driving.
Okay, so he talked to, I think, not Ravel.
Doesn't matter. He talked to somebody.
Who's his agent? You know, the guy with the slick hair.
Oh, yeah.
And he told him he wouldn't be surprised that if Brady called in the middle of the season and said, "We need you," that he would dress and play, that he would not continue through with the retirement. So this sounds like, once again, he wants to play like the Roger Clemens schedule from yesteryear, where he would sign with the Astros or the Yankees in June, pitch by July, and then he'd go through to the end.
You're going to need,
Rosenthal.
Okay, so that's fine, but I would say then that you got to keep yourself in better shape than you were the last time he called. Because when he came back, those first 5 games, he was dreadful. And then he took off once he got himself in shape and obviously had himself a great year. And then we know, obviously the Super Bowl year, all that's true. But you got to be in tip-top, ready to roll shape. Not that my feet are in cement shape.
My guess would be he would know that by now, and
yeah,
having been through it experience-wise. But then also, there was a video that went viral of him in a barbershop in Tampa leaving, and there was a dad and his son that were there, and they were asking him, you're going to come back. This is like 2-3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Oh, yeah, I'll be back. I'm just going to, Tom made us wait, so I'm going to make him wait now, too." And then he started laughing, and he walked out of the barbershop. So this might be a part of the play. He's like, "I don't want to do training camp. I don't want to. If I play 15 games or 12 games, that's much better for me than playing 17." I
wish you would just say that. I mean, not publicly, but, tell the team and everything else, hey, look, I don't have it in me to play 17 games. I got it in me to play 10. 9.
In a way, it's consistent. It's what he did with the Patriots. He never really intended to be retired that year that he was sitting out from the Patriots. He just wanted to wait for his opportunity. Where is Tom Brady going, or where am I going to power play my way out of New England too? Because he didn't give him a choice. He said, "You're going to trade me to Tampa Bay, or you're going to eat the remainder of my dead money on the cap." So that's what they did.
Worked out well.
It did.
All right, so now I don't know what to make of the settlement situation in Cleveland. Remember when I told you that if I were conducting the PR efforts in the case of Deshaun Watson, that the first thing I would do is have him hold a press conference, admit to his, at the very least, abhorrent behavior and entitlement, and then apologize and pay those women a bunch of money and make it go away, and then come back and play football? And even though that's ugly and makes you feel creepy and a little slimy, that we're talking about the world of big-time pro football and contracts and PR. And sometimes you have to, in those moments, work with people that you absolutely loathe. So I would take it on as a badge of honor almost in order to do this. But first, you'd have to own it. Like, if you want to put anything in the rear view, not that it's ever going to look good, not that it's ever going to be pretty, not that I'm condoning any of it, but there is this effort of a guy trying to play football again and make, $200+ million in guaranteed money from the Cleveland Browns, who were crazy enough, I guess, to sign him and not really worry about the repercussions of all that or the backlash. Okay, in that world, what would you do to begin the rehabilitation process to get back on the field as soon as possible, as we're not sitting over here aging on our couch, but rather getting something out of what we still have left in the tank, making and maximizing our profits, and then also, obviously, for Cleveland, the Browns' sake, getting him on the field to win games as soon as possible? How does that work? Well, to me, you would have to find a way to make all of the cases go away. And that is to say, A, you would only sign him if you knew he wasn't going to be charged criminally. Civilly, you can deal with. Criminally, you're going to have a problem on your hands. So if you're an organization, you say, all right, it doesn't look like they're going to bring criminal charges for sexual assault against him. All right, let's just say that's what you find out. And you're debating internally, do we sign this guy? Because we know that when he does play, he's a top 5 quarterback in the league, all right? So are we desperate enough? We haven't won anything. Our fan base is passionate and angry, and they want to win, and Baker Mayfield sucks, and we know it. What are we going to do? Well, do we dare sign Deshaun Watson? All right, well, I'll tell you what, Tom, the only way we're going to sign Deshaun Watson is if I know that dude's not going to jail. All right, let's first find that out. Okay, good. He's not going to jail? Great. The league's going to suspend him. Yes, I know that. They'll suspend him for what, 8 months to a year? Okay, got it. We can deal with that. All right, what else has to happen? Well, these cases have to be done with. That's what has to happen. So this is ugly, but Deshaun, if I'm paying you $200 million, take $30 million of that and let's pay these ladies off so that they're done talking and we're moving forward. And it's hideous and you can think what you want. And I'm not talking about judgment, moral or otherwise. I'm talking about what you do as a PR firm, an agent, and in this case, an individual, what you do to move forward with the rest of your career. That's what you would do. So why is it then that 20 of the 24 are settled? We still got the 4. This is the problem. We're trying to put stuff in the rear view. This doesn't seem like a good deal to me. This doesn't seem like what you do. You get all 24 or you keep working. Look, we don't announce, what's the difference, 2017?
No, you've just signaled to the 4 that, listen, if they want to drive the price up, if they even have a price.
Yeah,
they may
want to go to court.
Through.
They may want to file, yes.
And good for them,
yeah,
if that's the case.
If he's guilty, of course, all of that's true. Yes, we're not dirtbags. We know this is abhorrent, all of it. But I'm talking about from the team standpoint, the agent standpoint, the PR standpoint, the individual standpoint. What are you doing? You got to have all 24. You don't leave 4 just hanging around out here. That's not good news for you.
No, I'm trying to think of an equivalent in a much less heinous setting. It would be like a free agent, right? And you are a team that is trying to negotiate with a receiver, and there are 3 other receivers in the league who are comparable to you.
Right.
They've all signed for ridiculous amounts of money, and the team's like, oh, well, then we're going to have to pay him more. I think, we want Mike Evans back. And I see the deal that this guy got or that guy got. And they're record-setting deals. I guess that means that we need to make him the highest-paid receiver in football. And you're the general manager saying this. Your owner would call you and say, what are you doing? Why would you do that? You're giving him all the leverage in the world now to sign for more. In this case, don't announce the 20 or 20. Like, it's almost like they thought it would be a positive story. Like,
it's nuts to me.
A human interest story for him, his camp.
All right. So if there's a settlement, and it appears that there is, okay, of 20 of the 24, just like vet this for a second. Those settlements aren't for nothing, right? I mean, so those women, I don't know what they'll get, but let's just say for argument's sake, they each get $1 million, whatever, $20 million to get a part with, okay? So everybody gets $1 million. Part of that, if you take the money, if you agree to take the money and no longer pursue this, okay, is that you're bought off. You can't talk about it anymore. That is a legal arrangement, right? That's the settlement. You can't talk about this anymore. And then the beauty of a settlement like that is that Deshaun Watson does not want to have to talk about this. Of course he doesn't, but it's all he's going to get asked about unless it's in the rear view. So what he can then say is, I'm not allowed to talk about it. That's part of the settlement. Sorry, I'd love to tell you. I'd love you to give you my side of the story. I'm just not allowed. I can't do that. Sorry, guys. I'd really like to answer. He can always deflect, always. So it's a win-win if that happens. But you got to have all 24 or 25, whatever it's up to now. You can't have 20.
Right, because you could ask him about the other 4 or 5.
And they can keep talking.
But the thing where I think they're just screwed here, and good, I hope Cleveland is screwed, is it sounds like there were more coming after the 24. Like there were more. And that was reported as recently as a week or 2 ago, that there might be another wave of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wasn't it more than 10 more were coming forward? Because it was just on the heels of you having a segment saying, is there anybody else? And we find out there might be a lot more other people.
Even if there's not. If those 4 women that are still out there that have not agreed to this settlement and want to pursue it and go to trial, and they can, then that is something that looms for 2023. That's the conversation. Busby acknowledged that, the attorney acknowledged that it would be in 2023, that perhaps they would move forward and go to trial in August of 2023. When is this guy going to play?
Right, exactly.
Now, again,
no, to me, it sounds like this round of settlements is to try and put pressure on the league to let him play in 2022. Which is just, I don't think, going to happen.
If you're the league, you have to say, until this wraps criminally, or in this case, the trial ends civilly, we can't act. We're waiting for the legal process to run its course.
Which, in this case, would allow them to play this season. If that's what the league says. They can't suspend them while they're waiting. Can't do that. So it's either he violated player conduct policy now, or
right.
That's the hard part here. Now, I agree with you that the league might still suspend him anyway and say, well, for these 20 things that you settled, clearly it was not nothing. 20 people, Deshaun. 20 people. You're out 10 games. You're out 8 months. You're out a full season, whatever it is. And then they could double whammy if the trial comes to bear and a civil jury rules in the favor of any one of these plaintiffs. I mean, yeah. You could see where he gets double suspended.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He looks like it's going to happen on both ends here for him in a bad way. But that's what I'm saying about this. It's like, look, you're going to get it from the NFL, and then obviously going to be doling out tons of cash. And there's these other 4 things. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. Why did they announce it?
Yeah, my point is, I think his camp thinks, which is they're stupid, is part of it. But his camp thinks that the NFL now is going to have their hands tied and have to let him play this year. Because if there's not a trial, think about what they're framing. If there's not a trial till August 2023 and there are 20 settlements, what are we doing, guys? 3 games max, 4 games max.
Yeah.
Use the Jameis thing as precedent or whatever.
It's an interesting story. When I read that and then saw it again this morning, I went, what are they doing, man? The whole deal. And the only reason I'm circling back to it is because we did talk about it publicly, that whether or not Deshaun Watson plays football this year, was it the right move for the Cleveland Browns? Everybody's got an opinion on that. We talked about it before, but I said at the end of the day, if we're going to be callous and remove the uglier aspects of this case, and we're all grown-ups here, we know what that is. If you're just trying to move forward and play football, and again, understanding those other things are more important. But if you're just trying to move forward and play football, if you're him, if you're the organization, you're his agent, whatever, man, you gotta pay off those women, apologize, and let's go. Almost like the day well, you couldn't do it then, but whatever press conference you'd be willing to have in which you acknowledge your abhorrent behavior and then to pay off or whatever. I'm sure your attorneys would tell you not to do that, but either way.
So here's the question I would ask about what Cleveland did is it worth it no matter what? Because if he's suspended without pay by the league, then you don't owe him a cent. You've signed a 5-year fully guaranteed contract. So is it worth taking a swing at the fences here if you're Cleveland, even if you get 2
Clearly
years?
they decided yes.
But in your opinion, I'm saying, if you get 2 years out of him or 3 years out of him, and you know that you were going backwards as a franchise, you had this little blip where you're in the game in the second half with Kansas City 2 years ago in the playoffs, and a 50-50 call, you kind of got screwed on. So there goes your chance, because after that, it's been hell.
Yeah,
hell
well, partly because Baker's not good enough, and B, he alienated a lot of his teammates in the locker room, and C, he got hurt.
And the greatest receiving core, as it was said to be for about 10 minutes, was terrible. So what do you do now? Well, do you double down and take a shot because you've got Chubb and others in the backfield, and you've got Myles Garrett on the defensive line?
Yeah, you have a window right now to win. You do.
Right.
They have a good roster.
So is it worth it from a GM's perspective to say, well, who's the best player I can get? It's Deshaun Watson, and there's not even anybody else in the conversation. Let's take a crack at it and see if he's going to be eligible to play.
Per Graziano, under the new collective bargaining agreement, any recommendation the NFL makes about discipline for Watson, be it a fine, a suspension, or both, would then go forward before retired U.S. District Judge Sue Robinson, who serves as a jointly appointed NFL and NFLPA discipline officer. I'm sure they're thrilled that it's a woman that's ahead of the discipline. Robinson is likely to conduct her own hearing involving an interview with Watson and other witnesses. This means even once the league makes a decision on whether and how to discipline Watson, the process may take a while to resolve. And this is not what Cleveland wants to hear. And this is the gamble, right? Like, how long?
Well, but what's interesting, yes, what they would worry about in that situation is, would it happen in December? Like, would we have would we have progress for 3 months here as a franchise, and then in week 14 you're going to bring the band hammer down?
Yeah.
Because he was eligible to play all of last year. It's not like he was suspended by the league. That was a situation with the Texans. He could have played the whole season.
Yeah.
So if nothing changes, he can play in the preseason. He can play in the regular season until whatever ruling comes down.
It's ongoing. I would have remedied this with the all 24 if I could have. And if I couldn't, I wouldn't have made any sort of an announcement. Hey, guys, we got some to agree. Great. What about the others? No?
Well, that's where the Saul Goodman comes out. He's like, well, so what? We report the 20. If it's $100K a piece, that's $2 million. And so what? The other 4 want $5 million a piece.
Yeah.
Who cares? Let's move this thing
Let's
along.
go. Yes.
Let's set a number. Let's set the market.
What is the number? Let's go. Yeah. That's what I was saying before. It's like it's an ugly side of all this, and I even feel ugly talking about it sometimes. But it's like if you're just talking about that guy playing football again, it's got to be that this is all settled, and how quickly can we make that happen? Whatever those numbers are, let's go. I've got $200 million coming. I want to play football. I want to make that money. All right, I got to part with $50 million. Okay, that's better than prison. It's better than what I was looking at before. Let's go.
And then let's make sure that his ACL gets destroyed in the first week of the season and everybody wins.
Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Matt, when you think of a successful Southern cookout, what do you think of first?
The food, of course.
The food, but you got to think about the food prep. And Hearth and Patio has thought about that with their awesome grills.
What kind of grills?
Fire Magic, Broil Master, Blaze Grills, Kamado Joe. Matt, they got it all.
Wow.
Custom outdoor kitchens. Create an outdoor cooking space.
You'll be the envy of your neighborhood.
You will be the envy of your neighborhood, and you'll make a lot of people jealous. That's because you called Hearth and Patio at 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. Or you can visit Hearth and Patio online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
It's a backyard barbecue party. Leslie Holcomb's the number one more time.
850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. The Hearth and Patio, they not only keep the home fires burning, Hearth and Patio will elevate your grilling game.
Nice.
Nice indeed.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Another check from Northern Florida?
Yes, Your Majesty.
And may I ask why we get it?
It's from one of our businesses in the States, a pest control company.
Oh, and what do we know about pests in Northern Florida?
Absolutely nothing.
Did you know that most pest and termite companies that serve Tallahassee are actually owned and operated by people that don't even live in our area? One owner is actually in Great Britain.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control was founded in North Florida, operates in North Florida, and services North Florida.
All of Paul's decisions and treatments, plus prevention methods, are centered around the unique needs of our wonderful part of the world.
Being local really does matter in our industry.
Don't trust the health of your family to companies that aren't even on our continent.
Protect your biggest investment from termites and your family and pets from pests with a company with the local advantage, Paul's Termite and Pest Control.
And remember, Paul's keeps North Florida lawns green too. For the elimination of termites and other pests.
And a greener lawn too.
Call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
We use a fly swatter?
I believe we do.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers Advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers Advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue just north of Havana is your final destination for hamburger excellence. But what if you don't know which burger to try? Captain Kenny has turned off the no smoking sign and has a 3-burger flight to help you make your decision. Put down that tray table and let your taste buds fly. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue, 1 mile north of the last light in Havana. Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. Get your fill at the grill.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
in the College World Series double elimination round. 3-0 Oklahoma Go Sooners. Tonight, I believe, do we have that second game tonight? Yeah, Arkansas and Ole Miss.
7 o'clock, yeah.
Well, admittedly, my interest is waning, although I will pull for OU, but Notre Dame had me locked in. Now that they're out, good. We can get on with the getting.
You were rooting for them to get out, right?
Yeah, I was rooting for them to lose, sure. I hate Notre Dame in virtually all aspects. So I was fine with that. And then B, I wanted to get on to negotiate with our new coach. Wanted to get the process going here, baby. Let's go. Let's lock that in so that we can all just make a turn here to FSU football. It's close now. I mean, when I talk about the dates to where your mind will be perpetually thinking about football, that's July. That's what July represents.
That's 2 Fridays away.
I know. It's the 22nd today, right? So we're already, I mean, here we are. Here we go. Here we go. The only thing that happens this time of year, well, you get excited about the British Open, which they call it the Open, but I refuse to. It's the British Open. Anyhow, the point would be that is coming up, and I get excited about that. And, football. Camps and stuff. I get excited about that. But we go to Charlotte in July, so it really kind of begins in earnest at that point.
It's a couple of days. I don't need to spend more time covering ACC football, but it's such a grind for those 2 days because you get one for the Atlantic, and it's like you need to get as much content as possible in a 6-hour period of time.
Yes, you do. We're going to be on Radio Row, buddy. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be locking it in, having some fun.
Yeah, it's a hustle.
It is a hustle, but it's always fun to see everybody kind of talk about the teams and the prospects for the league and what's going to happen next. Every now and then you walk out of there and somebody introduced an interesting anecdote or talking point or something of that ilk. And so I look forward to it. Plus, there are a lot of people that go to that event that do real good work, that I enjoy their company, and we all go out for cold ones afterwards and have a great conversation. I saw while I was away, and I have not had the opportunity to talk on this yet. But I guess I should acknowledge it, certainly. And you and I have had conversations off the air about it. And I know that Aslan interviewed him. So it was a chance, certainly for Warchant, to provide some content here, introducing him to the fan base. But Florida State now has a new play-by-play man. I have not had a chance. Again, I was away on the beach at a concert, driving in this morning. I have not watched that. I have not talk to this individual. Jeff Colhane, is that his name? Jeff Colhane is the new play-by-play announcer. Now, what FSU did is open this up to a larger role. It is not just that you are the play-by-play or voice of the Seminoles. That is now going to be Jeff Colhane. He replaces Gene Deckeroff. That was announced, I think, yesterday or Monday. But he's excited, obviously, as one would be. But you've got a lot more to do now. It beyond just being a play-by-play man. I think he's kind of the director of media operations. Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So
it's a full gig.
It is a full gig. It's different. Gene Deckeroff was kind of the last of a dying breed. I've said that before. Broadcasting has taken a different turn. There are a lot more things that are involved now in the broadcasting industry, whether it's a talk show like this or anything else. It's changed a lot. And I think that the people that come down the pike in the future for any job like this at other locations, unless you're working for, say, the Minnesota Twins or the, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that is your job, right? You're going to have to do a lot more in order to be the voice of, in this case, Florida State or anybody else or anywhere else. So that's a young man's game, man. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Wish him well. Wish him well. I haven't met him yet.
It's like beat reporting almost. You're always there. You're always working. Now he's the director of operations, but then also he's doing football, men's basketball, the same that Gene Deckerhoff was doing. That does give you a window. If you've got other stuff, you can work remotely, but it's a grind. I mean, it starts in earnest. I would think you're going to see a lot more of him. And I don't mean this in a bad way about Gene, but I would think you're going to see a lot more of him day to day. You got to get to know this program like camp. You're going to have to really immerse yourself to get to know what this program's all about. Gene has the Deckerhoff had the connections for years and years where he could check out a practice here and there. He knows the players. He knows that William Floyd obviously is greatly connected to the program and understands what he needs to do. And that'll be the case for this year for Jeff. But you've got to know your market. So we're going to see a lot of him, I would think, at all the practices.
Yeah, and you're coming from North Dakota State. So while they were extremely successful, as we well know, at the FCS level, extremely successful to say the least, it's not a nothing program. I don't mean it that way, but it couldn't be further from Florida State. And that'll be interesting.
One thing it seemed like, because I watched some of his tape to get a sense of what he'd sound like, and Corey has a good article about, following the legend of Gene Deckerhoff and how we've had coaches do it recently in the last 10, 12 years, but it's really hard to do when it's a broadcaster that you're following because they hit deeper than a coach does because they're you. They're the extension of you, the bridge between you and the games, and everybody loved Gene. Like at the end of Bobby's time, there was a divided camp. Maybe some people were ready for him to go. I don't know any that were ready for Bobby Bowden to retire. I know,
you don't know anybody.
I know nobody who was ready, but I feel like some people were. 11 the same way. Gene's approval rating, Deckerhoff's, is much higher than those two coaches at the time that they left. So it's really difficult. But anyway, listening to his clips, one of his catchphrases, I think, needs to get the axe right away. I know. I'm
going to get home today and listen to it.
It's my, oh my. No, sir.
Oh,
Mick Huber's, oh my. No, you don't want anything close to that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I understand it's artistic and everybody has their own angle, and you don't really, if you're a Slash, you don't talk to Edge and say you need to do something differently. But
they might.
My oh my, gotta go.
Well, I'm sure he has to sit down and self-scout and recalculate and do all those things that you would anytime you're taking over a new gig. You gotta know where you are. Gotta know who.
It even sounds
who you're talking to.
My oh my. I'm like, nope. Oh my, that's way too close.
Yeah.
Wish you well, and it'll be a pleasure.
I do think that, again, this is a more modern approach with what Florida State did here and bringing in a guy that is not just now the voice of Florida State football, but a guy who's got a whole lot of other duties. And that means there are a lot of people. I can tell you now. I can just tell you. I don't know that I would have gotten the job or not, but I wouldn't have applied for this job. Not just because I didn't want it, but also because when you find out when you're that it's not just the announcing, it's all this other stuff. No.
Agreed.
Well, it's
I could have had Ben what's his name's voice from the Braves network, and I wouldn't have, that's just. I got a better gig. It's this one.
Yeah, no,
I'm already doing half of that.
Right.
Like you do that, plus then you've got to be on game days at that level, that consistently. No, sir.
Yeah, he has to oversee the other broadcasts on campus as well, the ACC Network Plus games, baseball, softball, he'll have to, all that stuff. Oh, hell no.
That sounds like affiliate relations and sales, too. Which
it's
is
a
like,
lot of affiliate relationships
no,
and sales and a lot of days spent, working real, like 18-hour days, and all for the honor of being able to do play-by-play on Saturdays in the fall.
Production, talent, and sales at the same time?
Yes.
Oh, no.
You had a window.
Oh, buddy.
You had a window into that hell. You had a window into that hell.
I hope you have a favorite spirit, Jeff. And I don't mean a ghost. Oh, my God.
Yeah, Tom Casper. The Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee Police Department is investigating a stabbing inside a bookstore. At 1:42 p.m., officers responded to the Books and Million store located in the 3500 block of Thomasville Road regarding an adult male victim who had been stabbed inside the store by another man. After stabbing the victim, the suspect left the store on foot. Officers located the suspect in the woods and took him into custody. The suspect was identified as 41-year-old John McFarland. McFarland has been charged with attempted murder. There was a second stabbing that occurred late Tuesday morning at 11:15 a.m. An adult male was walking on the 800 block of Wadsworth Street when another male suspect stabbed him several times. The victim sustained non-life-threatening injuries and was transported to a local hospital for observation and treatment. The victim was not forthcoming to investigators with information regarding the incident. The Tallahassee Police Department said no arrests have been made and the investigation continues. It is uncertain if the two cases are related. This is Rachel Linnea with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. A heat advisory continues until 8 p.m. tonight. Ample sunshine expected this afternoon with highs around 102. Northeasterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Clear skies and quiet again tonight, 77. Slight chance for scattered thunderstorms tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 104. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 100.
Let me tell you what T-Spark stands for. It stands for strength, commitment, teamwork, and heart. We don't ever quit until we've got nothing left to give. Our team is unstoppable. Want a guaranteed win? Call T-Spark Enterprises for your next roofing or construction project. We conquer all peaks. TSparkConstruction.com. License number CCC 1331204.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
We need to have history. We need to have literature. It deserves an explanation. We don't need to be promoting lifestyles that come into play for your average elementary school.
Well, I had an experience with this. When my daughter was in school, her teacher gave her a book to read, but then she asked me what the C word is.
That was in the book.
That was in the book.
Okay, so talking about the C word. So you're talking about conservatives, right?
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3. The Cameron Show is sponsored by the legendary team at Hamilton Home Loans. Great rates, cutting-edge technology, and transparent communication is the recipe for a 5-star mortgage experience at FSUHomeLoans.com.
Celebrating all things. Warchant TV. Celebrate that. Like, subscribe, all those good things. All right. So, thanks, Preston. You hit on something here that I do want to talk about. Jeff, college sportsbook question. Do you have a team in college football that is supposed to suck, but could wildly exceed expectations? And then he goes on to say, oddly enough, I really like Kansas over 2.5 wins. Transfers galore and 4 offensive linemen back. I'm with you on the over, but they're not going to wildly exceed expectations, Preston. I have them on the over as well. In fact, that's a bet that's going to be on the college sportsbook. I haven't done it yet, but I'll give you guys, my local people, a little inside loving. Hey, now. Phrasing, Cameron, phrasing.
Is there another kind?
A kiss on the cheek. So here you go. Yeah, I'm going to give you that. I, too, am on the over there. And I like Kansas improved at the end of last year. In fact, I was reading Conley's stuff about this, and he always points out when he previewed the ACC, he did this. He's previewed now. If you guys want to look at it, I don't work for ESPN, but it is a good read. ESPN.com. In the plus section there, you get the Atlantic and the Coastal previews already in the books. Plus, the SP Plus projections are out for every team in college football, so you can go look at that stuff and read all of that and kind of work that into, typically I do. I work that into along with a whole lot of other metrics in deciding where my preseason bets are going to go. But because you can't pay attention to everything, you need somebody who covers the conference, for example, to give you a good write-up on, say, Oregon State in the Pac-12, where you'd go, how many people they lose? They lose anybody to injury? Who's the guy that covers Oregon State? I'll go read his stuff. So anyhow, when you're doing this, that's what you want to do. You want to glean as much information as possible. We want to be as informed as possible before we make our preseason bets and decide, lock it in. Going with the over. Kansas at 2.5. Now, I'll tell you what. You think we're depressed half the time. Imagine having an SP Plus rank and going into the season of 109th. That's Kansas. Well, and on top of that, they have not, I believe I read this earlier, they haven't had better than 100th in the S&P Plus since 2013. So they've been outside the top 100 teams to play college football annually for almost 10 years. Whew, that's a long time. And the Power 5, like, that's a real university. What are we doing? Well, sucking is the answer.
Mangino proved it can be more.
Yeah, they. I think they will be better, and I would tell you that again. Wildly exceed expectations. Nah, exceed expectations of 2.5. Yeah, I'll take the over. I'll take 3.
Wouldn't wildly exceed expectations be 4 and 8? Right?
Yes.
I've got their schedule.
Can we get to 4? Can we get to 4?
I don't know. Just looking at it, I'm not so sure. Tennessee Tech, Golden Eagles to start the season. That's a win.
Okay, they better be, because if we're going on the over, they got to win that one. They got to win that one.
Better be is right. At West Virginia, game 2.
Loss.
At Houston, game 3. Jesus.
That's a loss.
They host Duke.
They can win that game.
That's a biggie.
They can win that game.
Saturday, September 24th, sir. Then they play Iowa State. They're going to lose that one.
Well, the great Matt Campbell surely can't lose that game.
TCU.
Loss.
At Oklahoma.
Do you recall they led 17-14 against Oklahoma in the fourth quarter last year? They will not beat Oklahoma, but they did lead Oklahoma in the fourth quarter last year, Tom.
Yes, that's where the TCU game. They've done it to TCU as well.
Yes, they have.
And that's
when
they actually in Lawrence.
TCU, if you remember.
Yes, in Lawrence. So that's why that game maybe. But at Oklahoma, no way. Not in Norman.
No.
At Baylor, no. Bye week, they host Oklahoma State.
No.
At Texas Tech.
No.
Texas in Lawrence.
Now they have a habit of beating Texas, but no.
In Lawrence, yeah.
No.
Penultimate week of the season.
In Lawrence. Oh, God, we got to go to Lawrence.
Yeah. The boredom. The boredom of Lawrence. And at Kansas State. Right? You're feeling 2 there, aren't you? 2 and 10.
It's tough. I'm gonna go over the 2.5. They'll upset somebody. They'll get a win in there. Jalen Daniels is a good quarterback.
Maybe
at the end of last year he was. They showed promise. They had the 57-56 win over Texas, by the way. Scored 57 points, Tom. Come on now. It's Kansas. They nearly beat TCU, as you pointed out. They nearly beat West Virginia. They lost 31-28 and 34-28. They're moving in the right direction. By the way, do you remember, and I'll always remember, I think you will too, just like I remember your Tennessee-Florida wager with the 4th down conversion and the 98-yard drive in a game that was already decided, that pass after pass was being completed, much to your chagrin. 3rd and 18, 4th and 20. Yeah. I think was in there. Was that a 4th and 20? 4th and 17?
It might have been 4th and goal from the 20. Something crazy.
Something crazy.
Like
Corner of the end zone, the whole thing. Yeah.
Or 4th and 15 from the 25 and they scored a touchdown. It's something like that, though. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah. Well, we both know when the other is on the wrong end of a bad beat. And you recall the kid returning the punt against, or the kickoff.
You were with your father and you said something extremely vile, and your father was like, "Whoa, you wagered on that one, did you?"
Well,
it was in your living room.
Somebody tackle that MF.
Yeah.
Is what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the top.
Because it was the slowest kick return for touchdown in history. It was the dumbest
thing I've ever seen.
It was FCS East against
Florida
State.
He's still running. I couldn't believe it.
It was the Dynasty 14 when they had the kid who's got 50 speed.
Yeah.
He's got 50 speed, and he runs back a kickoff for a touchdown. You're like, nobody's going to catch him?
I was in awe as I watched that thing happen. It was just dumbfounding. And ever since that's happened, I'm like, oh, man, I should hate Kansas for life. But I kind of admired that kid refused to go down. Refused to go down.
You got me hunting now for the Tennessee, Florida.
The drive chart?
Yeah, I'm hunting.
The drive chart is all time
because they had 2 95-yard drives in a quarter.
So did you chuckle? Let's segue to this before we end up with probables later. Did you chuckle when Brooks made the announcement or when that thing came down? Because you and I just talked about it on Monday, and I brought up that I thought he was leaving.
Chuckle, not necessarily, but
so you know what?
I was disappointed. I'll be honest, I was disappointed.
I figured you might be, but I think it's perfectly in line with the personality. I also think it is. I mean, they have created a league of douchery in a way that you could not even imagine. I mean, Taylor Gooch, Patrick Reed, Kevin Na, Bryson DeChambeau, Answer, Koepka, Johnson. I mean, this is a list of people that are loathed the world over.
One would think, too, that the amount of money that they had to have offered Brooks and or Chase, I think that might play into this, obviously. No. That they paid Chase in the first place tells me that this might have been a package deal.
Sure.
But the amount of money they had to pay for him to go buddy up with Bryson, I think is interesting.
You've seen the tweets that are hilarious. Bryson kissing Brooks.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe Matthew sent me one
well
yesterday,
done.
yes.
That is so good. By the way, it makes me laugh. They're still trying. Like, they're like, everybody ready for Portland? Here's the field. James Piot, Chase Koepka, Turk Pettit. I like Turk Pettit. I could make that up. If I said to you, so Gergelson is not yet in the Live Tour. Gergelson is not there yet, Tom. That will happen. They'll get Gergelson soon enough.
Well, he's an alternate. I think he's third alternate.
But by the way, so beyond Gergelson, this guy I just told you about, Turk Pettit. If I told you there was a golfer that they've bought to bring in here for the Portland field, Turk Pettit, you'd be like, Jeff, stop making stuff up.
I believe that's Turk Petit.
Turk Pettit. We're going with Turk Pettit. Thanks, Turk. Adrian Adagwe, Sihan Kim, Fakara.
Whoa.
Made you nervous.
Yep.
Kongwadami. Hinny.
Oh, hey, man. I barely know you.
Hinny Duplessis. Laurie Cantor. Wade Ormsby. This is the field guy.
Wade Ormsby?
Ormsby, that's the guy's name. This is the field guy.
Call your local State Farm agent, Wade Ormsby.
Hideki Tinahara, Yuki Inamori, Bernard Wiesberger. You know Wiesberger?
Yeah. Bernd. Yeah. Bernd. Yeah. Bernd Wiesberger.
Tallahassee's own Hudson Swafford. Way to go, Hudson.
Hudson took the cash.
Yeah. Scott Vincent. Reisuke Kinoshita. I nailed that one.
This sounds like a World Baseball Classic probable.
Sam Horsfield. Phil Mickelson.
Suddenly he sounds less prestigious in the midst of all these names, doesn't he?
Yes, they all do. Kevin Na, Patrick Reed, Taylor Gooch, Sergio Garcia, Richard Bland, Matt Jones, Sean Norris.
There you go. The photo of Brooks and Bryson is now up.
That's good. Brooks, Koepka, Dustin Johnson. There's your field. That's great field.
Well, here's the thing. I'm disappointed in Brooks, not for the obvious reason, but we've had this talk about going to live and what it means and the low-hanging fruit that picking on the golfers is, which you can, and rightly so. Just, I think you should pick on everybody up and down the ladder that's involved with this stuff. But I'm disappointed because he said, and he was adamant about it, that
yes, he was.
He's got to work to be better in regular tournament events.
Yes.
And he's got to be more competitive. He took the easy way out. He quit.
He quit. He wasn't having fun because it was too hard. He'd rather be comfortable than good. He doesn't have to try hard to beat that field.
Well, and also they're going to be joined by more. I think there are more coming.
Well, there's 3 more coming that we know of. But right now, it's a who's who is didn't matter. It's a group of guys that weren't going to matter in the very near future whose game was falling off a cliff, and they decided to take the money. Right?
I don't think it's going to be all the way like that. Abraham Answer is a good young player. We'll see if the Chileans defect. There's talk that Neiman may go. Neiman's a good young player. And Hovland, there's some rumors that Hovland might go. So if you get a few of these guys, now you're moving towards the PGA having to go through a reconciliation process, which is
their goal.
Here are the changes that we're going to make. You guys can go play your stupid live thing, and then you can come back and play the tour. That's what it's going to be in the end, I think.
That's what they're attempting for it to be. It will be interesting to see if because you're getting now a lot of the tour players that decided to be loyal to the tour because it's made up of, the tour is actually, the USGA are the players. That's what they are, right?
The PGA
is it's the players.
200 or so.
Yeah. So that group that is now beginning to get very, very vocal, those guys may say, no, we don't, no, you can't. Now, it could be so much pressure ends up building to where they will have to incorporate.
It sounds like the way that this is working is these players are being offered more and more, and they're deciding this is going. We can take this and circle back and play the PGA
They think they
anyway.
will be. That's what they think is going to happen.
So I don't want to be the guy who gets left out, because watch, somebody who is adamant like Brooks, like JT won't, but maybe Spieth, somebody like that. Let's just say it's somebody on that level says, well, I mean, Jesus, this is the PGA's answer is to do these loaded tournaments, and they don't really give us the status we're looking for. All right, I'll go over, and then we'll swing right around. We'll come back to the PGA because the majors are going to let us play in them anyway, the non-PGA championship.
Well, I always thought Brooks was a candidate to be this kind of a whore, because he is. And then B, I also thought he didn't care about the PGA Tour. Never did. He showed blatant disinterest on a week-to-week basis, which was something we talked about all the time. I think the regrettable action here, well, there's several things I find regrettable, but if we're just going to keep it surface level, I'll say this. Don't do the stupid dog and pony show, the nonsense you did last week. Well, why are we talking about this? What are we doing? You're putting shade on the U.S. Open. I love the U.S. Open. The more you talk about Live Golf, the more legs they get. What the hell you were going to do long before you sat up there at that press conference? Nonsense.
Well,
he also, him and Dustin Johnson both vehemently stated they were staying and that they had no interest. I mean, hell, Dustin Johnson sent out a press release on a Wednesday when nobody even asked him to, just to tell everybody how much loyalty and dedication he had to the PGA Tour. Why? Why'd you do that?
Maybe they tried to power play and get some of the concessions to be made earlier. Either way, look, I'll grant you that this is objectively disappointing for Brooks, for those who support Brooks. But he's always also been somebody who thinks he's smarter than he actually is.
Oh, that's for sure.
And this is one of those times. Now, does it change the fact that, if he's in a major and he's coming down the stretch, and I'll be pulling for him in many circumstances, because I just appreciate the toughness that he has in those moments. I wish he was tougher about this. He wasn't. But I'm also going to keep my stance for him that I had for Bland or Poulter or McDowell or anybody else. Not Phil. Phil's a special kind.
Siwon Kim?
Well, he wasn't getting paid $100 million. Like, I'm not going to begrudge a player for taking the same money that the PGA will take from sponsors who do business and endorse Saudi Arabia. Stop it. It's a double freaking standard.
Sure.
And I can't stand that. The FedEx Cup. FedEx is investing $400 million of their own money into the Saudi economy. Their money they're investing into Saudi Arabia.
I agree that the larger conversation is filled with talks of the gray area, nuance, and everything else. I don't disagree with that. These guys are clowns, and they behaved like clowns.
That's the problem.
Clowns.
Yes.
Disingenuous, Rory's right, duplicitous, clowns. Liars, cheat, you name it, across the board.
Yes, they did.
Asshats. Never root for him again. I hope he never wins another tournament. And I didn't like him to begin with, but
so are these corporate heads that Aaron and talk with Jim Nance for 15 minutes that they get in the fourth round of a given
I'm not
tournament.
rooting for them either. I'm telling you.
No, but I'm saying we put aside that clownishness and watch the RBC or watch the FedEx Cup, and we don't ask the same questions.
No,
and that's annoying to me, because then it's disingenuous on our side.
Well, we don't have time to go into this given the clock. I think you're wrong there, but again, we have 7 minutes left in the show. We will do this on our bellying up at some point if we ever.
We need to.
But we also need to look really closely at who is posting the bellying up. Like the pod people, do they work with the Saudis? Because if so, we're done. I don't know about that shirt you're wearing. And
no, I'm wearing a Nike shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making my point.
No, I'm not. We're 7 minutes. Let's do we want to do probables here?
We got time.
All right, go. Fire it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching probables?
What's going on? No. I had it up, then it pulled off and went no. Again, phrasing, Jeff. I'm well aware.
It's because it's housed in Saudi Arabia. They're like, screw you.
Google?
I'm sure they do plenty of business over there.
Here we go. Finally got him. Mets, Stros, they're already in the third. It's 4-0 Houston. Toronto, starters. Yeah, you need those. Carlos Carrasco and Luis Garcia. Blue Jays, White Sox. Wow, the computer got crazy on me. 1-0, by the way. Toronto leads the White Sox. Ross Stripling, Lucas Giolito. Phillies, Rangers, Zach Wheeler, John Gray. D-backs, Padres, Madison Bumgarner, and Mike Clevenger. Dodgers, Reds, Tyler Anderson, Luis Castillo. Rockies, Marlins, that's Chad Kuhl, who, of course, is having himself a good year. Pablo Lopez. Nats, Orioles, Patrick Corbin, Tyler Wells. Pirates don't know who's going to start, but lately they've been kicking the hell out of the Cubs, which is a good thing. Keegan Thompson will start for the Cubs. Tigers, Red Sox, Tariq Skubal, Michael Wacha. Yankees, Rays, Jordan Montgomery, Shane Baz. Giants, Braves, Carlos Rodon and Charlie Morton. Martin! Guardians, Twins, Tristan McKenzie, Sonny Gray. Cardinals, Brewers, Adam Wainwright, Eric Lauer. Mariners, Athletics, George Kirby and Paul Blackburn. Royals, Angels, Daniel Lynch, Shohei Ohtani. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. I got to do, you know what? Speaking of which, it'll be fun. Tonight is the PGA Tour show that I do with my good friend, FSU golf coach Trey Jones. We will have to have that discussion. I'm very interested.
I am too. Because
he was just at his wedding.
He understands the global nature of these things. So I'd be very interested to hear his perspective.
He's got no love for Liv. He's already told me that. But he also talked about something a lot of people have talked about, which I think is the more interesting thing to our listeners, which is that there will be forthcoming changes to the PGA Tour. That's one thing that will happen with this.
And they've been terrible about this.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna handle that better now because they're forced to. I do agree with that. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Take